Assalamu alaikum and welcome to Game Changer. I'm Mariam Zia. In today's program, we will be talking about the vibrant and enduring relations between Pakistan and the Kingdom of Morocco. When we talk about Pakistan's diplomatic relations with Morocco, of course, the relations between both the countries were established back in May 1958. And over the passage of these years, both countries have established cooperation in a number of sectors that we'll be talking about in today's program. We will also be talking about the historical evolution of relations between both the countries. We will be talking about the economic trade potential between both the countries, and of course the multilateral and regional aspects of these bilateral relations between Pakistan and Morocco. To discuss this and more, we are joined in the studios by former Ambassador Ms. Naila Chauhan. Welcome to the program. We are also joined by Dr. Ghulam Mujaddid, who is expert in international affairs. Welcome to the program. And we are joined online by Dr. Stan Javed, who is economist and expert in international affairs. Welcome to the program. Ambassador Naila, let me start with you. When we talk about Pakistan's relations with Morocco, of course, there's an interesting history that is behind these relations. Can you tell us about this history and how these relations have strengthened over time?
Well, the relations between Pakistan and Morocco are before Moroccan's independence. Pakistan, since our independence, has been supporting other countries that were going through the process of decolonization. So in 1952, you might know that in 1912 there was the Treaty of Fez,
of course,
according to which France had made Morocco its protectorate. Consequently, they had become a colony. But in 1952, after the World War, there were nationalist movements going on, and the French were not willing to let go. They had sent their resident general to keep the colony under their control. Consequently, the Moroccans were being suppressed. So then Ahmed Boulfarg was sent to UN by the king to speak on behalf of the people of Morocco. But when the delegation landed there, the French opposed it.
Of course.
Because they said that this is part of France and France is already represented in the UN, so they cannot speak independent of France. Then our representative Zafrul Haq, when he saw this, he could not tolerate this humiliation of a Muslim nation. So he opened his embassy at midnight to prepare the passport, gave him a Pakistani passport. So he spoke on Pakistani delegation to represent Morocco as Pakistani. So that
he presented his own viewpoint, his own nation's movement viewpoint, because that was the high point when Morocco was moving towards independence, and that Pakistan played a significant role.
Yes, so, because he spoke as a Pakistani, he
course.
could not have spoken as Moroccan. So he was a Pakistani speaking for Morocco.
Of course, and he still has that Pakistani passport framed over there in the embassy.
In his office, he had this because he became subsequently the Prime Minister.
Right.
So he always kept it, and even now when we meet with our Moroccan colleagues on different occasions, this is one thing that has deeply entrenched in their mindset that Pakistan is a friend forever.
Of course, and of course, Dr. Mujaddid, they keep Pakistan in high regards, but how do you see this interesting, I would rather say, that historical context that Ambassador Sahiba has built on, that has led to strengthening the political relations, political ties between the two countries? And when we talk about the exchange of high-level delegations between the two countries, what can you tell us about that?
Yes, I think the Ambassador was spot on. She was very right once she said that we have relations with Morocco before Morocco became independent country, and we had very foundational contribution towards Moroccan independence as explained by the Ambassador. Now the situation is that presently, after Turkey, Pakistanis are most respected in Morocco because of those things, and Ambassador would bear me out that she has been there. So there is lots of social capital and love for Pakistan and Pakistanis in Morocco because of that that contribution or little contribution of Pakistan that it had to do. Now, therefore, we start with Pakistan-Morocco relationship on a very, very positive and loving note in the international relations. And there have been, of course, exchanges of the high-level, delegations between the two countries, and there are very strong diplomatic. Pakistan supports Morocco in all its endeavors and international relations within that part of North Africa where Morocco is situated. For example, there is an issue of Western Sahara, and Pakistan has unflinching supported the Moroccan viewpoint.
Of course, that's what I want to talk about, that has this historical context, and the political relations between the two countries has influenced their stance towards each other or towards other regional conflicts, or some causes that Pakistan supports, like we talk about Kashmir issue. So do you think that these bilateral relations have influenced the stance?
Of course, they have influenced the stance because Pakistan supports Moroccan stand on Western Sahara, saying that it is the internal matter of Morocco, and Morocco has all the rights over whatever it manifests regarding the Western Sahara and this thing. And of course, Morocco has openly and many times supported our stance on Kashmir. So it is a reciprocal and mutual relationship that is there. Recently, there has been an upbringing of the relations between the two countries on regional security matters, on the anti-terrorism or something. So that's a great kind of development.
Of course, we will be talking about the security cooperation between the two countries as well. But Dr. Hussain, let's talk about the economic cooperation between Pakistan and the Kingdom of Morocco. What are the key drivers when we talk about economic relations between Pakistan and Morocco?
See, if we talk about the economic relationship, before that, I would like to talk on that there are the territorial links, which gives the substantial equation to the economics. First of all, the Morocco has undergo a sharp declaration due to the domestic and international shocks, which is a dot in high commodity price, and else is the real domestic product GDP growth is plummeted to 7.9. But although it is in between the 2021 and in 2022, these shocks triggered supply-driven inflationary pressure that have broadened and pushing core inflation to 8.5% in February 2023. As because we are very currently talking about the Morocco situation, so I'm just discussing about all these areas in an inflationary pressure to have a broadened and pushing core inflation, which is about 8.5% in February 2023, is disproportionary and affecting poorer households. The authorities' anti-inflationary pressure have included untargeted subsidy and regulated price and moderate monetary tightening. And this policy package has put significant pressure on public finance. Then is the however, the dynamic tax and non-tax revenue allowed to reduction in the budget and deficit. We're talking about the Pakistan and the Morocco relation under the economic diaspora. We can see that the Moroccan-Pakistan relation have traditionally have a strong cordial relationship since it established in 1950. Soon after the Pakistan independence from the United Kingdom, both countries have cooperated well. But if I talk about the trade relationship, it's in million. If I talk about the economic complexity,
if I talk when we talk about that Pakistan imports from Morocco and vice versa.
Yeah, so this is what I'm saying. It is still in the millions. We are looking forward for the higher values, higher figures, which is like, for example, if I talk about the export in 2021, it is about 46.4% export. And the main product to the Pakistan exported to Morocco are the heavy pure woven cotton, and which is about the 12.6 million. and the light synthetic cotton fiber is 3.63 million, and the rice is about 3.44 million. And 44 during the last 26 years, the export of Pakistan to Morocco have increased an annual rate of 9.39 from 4.51 million, which is, I mean, from 1995 to it was 46.4 million, which is lesser than less, but we can make it high. But during the 2021, Pakistan had a large net trade with Moroccan export of textile. I mean, as we are currently talking about the agriculture and trade and the next plan to FDI, we are focusing Morocco. We are asking Morocco to have their textile industry over there in Pakistan, and we already export that much of the cotton there. So this is a vital chance to invest in our agriculture and textile, because the Moroccan industry is very much familiar with us, and we know the Arab culture, we know the sub-Saharan culture, so it is very much important.
So
If I
Dr.
talk
Singh, what are
about
the
the
trends when we
export
talk
and of the
about this bilateral trade between the two countries, and what is the significance of these trends, and how to diversify when we talk about these economies of both the countries, to diversify the sectors in which both countries can enhance their cooperation?
See, very important and pertinent question. So first, we have to untap the potential trade, reveal that the bilateral trade between them can go as high to 9.67. This is my calculation, and I'm telling you that it is 9.67 billion from top 25 products alone. And this is my very latest review, and I have given to the government of Pakistan. And then if the potential is to be realized, either country, both nations would need to work on diversifying their export in profile. And I have marked these words, and as you know that the UNO OIC, the headquarters is also in Rabat. So in other way, we can have the trade relationship under this Rabat connection to the other 57 countries, which is alone, it's about the cotton, man-made fiber, clothing, accessories, worn clothing and textile, knitted and crochet apparel, and pharmaceutical product. So under this area, as I'm telling you, it is the most vibrant area to focus on. So it is under the $100 billion of the SIFC plan or the FDI plan. When we grab the FDI, it is the better plan to have these. So the two countries have established a joint business committee to further explore the opportunity for the cooperation. And at the same time, the South Asian country could benefit from the Morocco experience in a solar energy, which is very much important. So as Morocco
of course,
has
we will
done
be
a
talking
lot
about
good
solar
job
energy
in
as well.
solar energy,
Of course,
and
there's a
emphasize
lot of
Morocco's
potential when we
regional
talk about
leadership in the
cooperation
solar
in
and the
solar
wind
energy.
energy.
Right. We will be talking about renewable energy resources and infrastructure development as well. But Ambassador Naila, let's talk about the current memorandum of understandings that have been signed between the two countries to enhance economic cooperation.
Well, we have signed quite a few memoranda of understanding in the recent times. As I said, we started as soulmates. So our cooperation has been in that dimension, because Morocco is an exporter of phosphate, and our Fauji fertilizers have done a joint venture with OCP, which is a Moroccan phosphate company, to produce fertilizers there, and then it can be exported back to Pakistan or to Europe. Similarly, we have done joint ventures in textiles and other areas also. The recent MOU that was signed in March 2023 was to jumpstart the economic relations, because although our, as I said, we are soulmates, but somehow our trade relations haven't been as strong. I wouldn't say not as strong, but the balance of trade is in favor of Morocco, because what they export is very expensive, like phosphate, DAP, DAP, all these things are very expensive, while what we export is garments and rice and all these things which are not as expensive, so the deficit shows visibly. Now, the Business Council Committee that was established in 2018 was established, but not much was done in this. Private sector had to come forward, which unfortunately it didn't. So in 2023, they decided to look at all the bottlenecks in economic and trade relations and remove them.
And what are, when we talk about these bottlenecks or major challenges in economic cooperation between the two countries, what are those?
Basically is the distance.
Connectivity.
Connectivity.
That we keep on talking about.
Yes. But then, as we spoke in the last program also, when you did it on Africa, that we established the Engage Africa policy. So in Engage Africa policy, we took 3 major steps to further fortify our trade relations. Firstly, the Pakistan Africa Trade Development Forum, which was established in 2020, was to include all these countries, including Morocco. Second forum was organized in Lagos, Nigeria in November 2021. So that also was to look at trade relations with all the African countries in general and Morocco in particular. And the third forum was the Johannesburg South Africa Forum, which we spoke of last time also, which was a business council of African countries working with Pakistani Business Council. Then there are chambers of commerce cooperation between the two countries.
So has there been any exchange of delegations?
Yes, yes, there has been, but there needs to be more, number one. Number two, we also work we are both founding members of OIC. So we have been working on that platform also. Pakistan and Morocco are also members of the Al-Quds Committee, where we work together. At international level, we are both members of UN and ECOSOC, which is also an economic and social council. So there also we discuss economic and trade relations. And now the chambers of commerce like Sialkot, surgical goods are being exported to them. Sialkot Chambers is working hard to further increase our exports to Morocco. And all these steps are being taken under the ambit of the new Engage Africa policy.
Of course, that's about the new Engage Africa policy, and that is very important. What measures do you think are still needed to enhance investment opportunities between the two countries? And are there some joint initiatives that have been pursued by the governments or by the private businesses in both the countries?
Yes, I think that's a very important aspect that you have highlighted. There are opportunities that exist. The problem is that our mutual relationship are not up to the opportunities that actually exist in the trade. And as our economic expert just said, that in top 25 items that countries trade with one another, the potential between Morocco and Pakistan is of more than $9 billion annually or something. And presently, Morocco's exports to Pakistan are around, let's say, 400 million, and ours to them are 115 or something of million. So much below the potential. And it is very heartening that there has been in the March 2023 a kind of an establishment of a mechanism where all these areas are going to be explored, that okay, what are the problems and how can they be overcome? What are the opportunities and how can they be materialized both for Pakistan and for Pakistan? I would say that we need to increase our private business contact with Moroccans. We have lots of things that we can offer them, trade with them, and they are quite value-added things. And we need to increase, for example, our surgical exports to this, in which Pakistan specializes and makes the world-class surgical instruments.
But are there some sectors that go beyond these traditional sectors in which we can cooperate?
These are not traditional sectors.
Right.
These are the sectors that need to be enhanced as far as the trade is concerned. The tourism sector, for example, where there is a great potential between the two countries to have some kind of a touristic diplomacy going on between them. And of course, people-to-people contact, so that this tourism will increase the people-to-people contact and all that. And I also suggest to our entrepreneurs and all that processes of globalization, they have increased opportunities at the level of local entrepreneurs within Pakistan, and they should go and look at Moroccans in Morocco where there are opportunities that are available. Morocco, by the way, is the if world has 100% of phosphate, Morocco alone has 70% of that. It's a very, very important country, and phosphate is needed by the whole globe and all that. And this trade imbalance between Morocco and Pakistan has grown, let's say 3 to 4 times, just because the prices of phosphate have grown, and Pakistan has to import the phosphate for fertilizers. And ma'am has very rightly pointed out a very important area, that why can't we have lots of fertilizer factories, we have lots of experience of fertilizer industry, why can't our people, industrialists, go and establish fertilizers in Morocco, so that they are produced and they are exported, and it is good for Morocco also as well. So these are many, many areas in which both countries need to, the goodwill is there, the soulmateness is there, but the practical aspect and practical development has to be commensurate.
Of course, that is very important. And what needs to be done for that practical development, we will be talking after. We are talking about Pakistan's relations with the Kingdom of Morocco. Dr. Sen, when we talk about, of course, economic relations, there's a lot of potential, but there are a number of challenges as well. What do you think needs to be done to enhance the economic cooperation between the two countries, and, of course, to increase the volume of trade that we keep on talking about?
Yeah, so as far as a volume of trade, I mean, I would say that, both of the participants is rightly said that it is, for now, I can say that it is complete avoidance by the Pakistan. We never, look Africa policy is not our subject. So we have to think on it, because it is very much important. But now, after 2017, we think on it, and then now two countries agreed to implement a joint roadmap to challenge future economic cooperation. And Dr. Mujahid was very right. And despite the COVID-induced economic recession, Pakistan export to Morocco grew by 10% in 2020 to 2021. And the phosphoric, this is very much important area. The phosphoric and DAP and the rock sulfate constitute the bulk of Morocco's export to Pakistan, while Morocco import a wide range of manufactured goods from the Asian country, including denim, fabric, surgical items, leather, gloves, among others. So two countries also share a joint venture between the Morocco Phosphate Office, Phosphate Office, which is OCP, and the Pakistani Phosphorus Company, which is PMP, in Al Jadida, Jaroof, Lasfar, on the Morocco Atlantic coast. So this is the bilateral cooperation which will be also extended to other sectors, including the marble manufacturing. Pakistan has significant reserve for the different marble varieties to competitive price. And the tourism, he has pointed out a tourism in a very excellent way. So it is also a promising horizon of a joint venture. You could see the 100 books in the Morocco, starting from the Marco Polo to his adventurous Morocco. And you cannot, I've been to Morocco, and their hospitality is among the very different. We have explored recently Pakistan. Most of the Pakistan goes to Azerbaijan. Most of the Pakistan goes to Turkey. But most of the Pakistan very much unaware of the Morocco industry and Morocco hospitality. So I would say the Morocco hospitalities are wonderful and magnificent, I would say. So this is
right. There's a lot of potential to promote tourism. Of course, there's a lot of potential when we talk about tourism between the two countries. But Dr. Sen, let's talk about the regional cooperation initiatives in which both countries have been engaged, and how both countries have supported each other on a regional level, because we keep on talking about trade, and one of the factors of the low trade volume is the lack of connectivity between the two countries.
Yeah, it is first the ignorance, and then is the connectivity. In today's world, the supply chain is not about the, other reason. We have the Gawaider, we can afford the ties, we can specify the route, we can, it is not the complicated issue. But in late 2017, Morocco invited and encouraged Pakistani entrepreneurs and businessmen to take the advantage of Morocco's free trade agreement (FTA), particularly in textile and ready-made garment. And as under the FTA, Morocco is the biggest exporter of ready-made garment to Europe. So this could be the biggest, interlink between the Europe. So why not the Ministry of Industry or the Planning Division or the Commerce or the Board of Investment has put their effort on the European side by linking up this European market into the biggest export market. Then the Pakistani companies were also invited to set up the garment unit with the 30% value addition accepted to European Union. And this was a huge opportunity for Pakistan private sector to boost trade. But they were completely avoiding that. It was after 2017 because most of the business were never been to Morocco and they were never been, you can say, discover the
right, of course, this was
potential.
an unexplored area.
Very much important, but I just want to specify one area. Pakistan is a major investor in Morocco's fertilizer production, and the Fauji Fertilizer Company of Pakistan and Morocco's phosphate board have signed an agreement with worth of AED in their currency is 800 million and more than US 83 million, which will be the biggest trade startup, I would say. And I think as by our program, the game changer, people must, and I would request to the trade community, I would request to the business community, they must have to explore the Morocco as much as they can.
Right, right. Of course, they need to explore, but let's talk about the infrastructure development between the two countries. Are there some projects or initiatives aimed at enhancing the infrastructure between the two countries to promote economic ties between the two countries?
So far as as I told you, that there is the potential is much higher than the phosphorus, and we must have to go into the way to the structural development. Both are less into the infrastructure development because of course Morocco is not a powerful economy. When they go towards the infrastructure development, of course they can come under the CPAC, they can come under the Belt and Road project. Of course, by uniting together, always try to understand. Now see, a whole of the China have the focus. Look Africa policy is their target. Look Africa policy is their whole dream. And now they are completely exploit, or you can say they can using their complete potential, and they are making the infrastructure over there in Africa or the whole of the Morocco by the China, but Pakistan is not putting any effort to the infrastructure development over there. Of course, we need infrastructure development over there in Gwadar, so we can ask them to come and participate in Gwadar, as by their port is very much near to us, so they can come by their port to the Gwadar side and they can invest as much as they wanted to be.
Of course, there's a lot of potential when we talk about BRI and CPEC as well. But when we talk about Morocco, of course, Morocco has made significant progress in renewable energy resources, especially when we talk about solar energy. So what can Pakistan learn from Morocco, and both countries can cooperate in energy sector?
Actually, there have been discussions on this subject, and under this joint business committee, that Morocco has made good progress in solar energy, and their specialists can help us further promote our solar energy. Then another area is climate change. Both the countries are facing issues due to climate change, so that's another area they can work together on. Interesting enough, Islamabad and Rabat are twin cities, sister cities. We have Institute of Strategic Studies, and they have the International Royal Institute, which are also working together. We are working in different levels. But the tangible is not that visible because of the reasons that we have just discussed.
Of course, but what needs to be done to enhance cooperation, especially when we talk about knowledge sharing in the areas in which one country has more expertise? What needs to be done, and what are some of the areas in which both countries can collaborate further? Of course, renewable energy is one of the sectors, infrastructure development is another.
There are lots of sectors in which Rabat and Islamabad can cooperate, as indicated by the ambassador. The only thing is that how to increase the interaction in private sector between the chambers of commerce, between the industrialists of the two countries. The areas have been pointed out and they are there. They are there. The only thing is that how practically we do the steps, these things. And there are, other than infrastructure, Gwadar, and there are lots of scores of other things which are there, in which the practicality is that it needs to be implemented. It needs to be gotten hold of to improve the relations between the two countries.
So are there some joint ventures when we talk about energy cooperation or infrastructure development, and even transportation sector? Of course, there is a network of transportation when we talk about in Morocco is very advanced. So there is potential for that in that regard as well. So are there some initiatives that are under talks?
The initiatives are there. The research is there, that what are the areas that you have pointed out, and therefore from Pakistan side, what are those structures which can go and cash on those things. I mean, somebody has to go there, somebody has to offer them certain things, and it has to be a mutual kind of negotiation in many areas in which we do. The problem that is coming up is that Pakistanis need to cash upon the immense opportunities in various sectors between Morocco and Pakistan.
Of course,
that actually needs to be done.
Of course. Dr. Hasnain, how do you see that both countries can leverage their expertise for working in the sectors where there is untapped potential? What needs to be done?
Mariam, I mean, it is very unfortunate, and I just wanted to share this grief by my side, as I am in China currently, and I have traveled a lot in different countries. So I have seen that the role of foreign office is very much, unsatisfactory. I always talk about that there must be the commercial consulates, there must be trade consulate, there must be some robust areas where they facilitate their people. Their areas must be very much in link with their people. But I haven't seen anywhere in the trade sector, especially in the trade sector, not even for the domestic ways or for the documentation and other things. They are so, you can say that is, obsolete ways they are taking. And even can you believe that in the versatile area, still they are not using the WeChat or where there is no concept of the cash money. Still the Pakistan consulate in China is using the hard cash money. I mean, is that the thing what we are doing? So in that area, so we have to focus first on ourselves, on our planning division, on our Ministry of Industry, on our commerce, and then on the Board of Investment. Of course, Morocco is the 5th largest African economy, and there is a potential of 109.71 billion with a growth rate of 4.09. Have we go for the mineral and mine? Have we focus on the phosphorus? Have we focus on the Pakistan value-added service?
There's a lot of potential for public-private partnership as well. So what can you say about public-private partnerships between the two countries? That could be one of the factors that can lead to enhancing cooperation in other sectors as well.
Yeah, that is only can happen by the commercial consulates, and they must have to examine the focus area. As the phosphorus is the biggest area of the Morocco, as the mineral and mine is the biggest area, as the energy and solar energy is the biggest area. Why we are not even just having any trade between the Morocco on the solar energy, and we are asking for other countries? Why so? And if we are making we are the 9 economic zone, and nobody is offering them to work their productivity or industry in our area. So we try to understand that.
Of course, there's a lot of potential in which both countries can cooperate.
Was Spain and France, followed by China and USA. We must have to think that the Morocco also is very much important in the fossil fuel, motor cars, part and accessories, and aeroplanes. So there are the biggest parts over there in Morocco, but nobody have exercised this trade mechanism with Morocco.
Right. So let me take this discussion to the studios. Dr. Mujadid, when we talk about security cooperation between the two countries, how do you view the defense and security cooperation between the two countries, how it has evolved, and what are the potential areas in which both countries can cooperate further?
Yes. I think it was in 2020 that Chief of the Army Staff visited Morocco on a 4 days official visit, and that visit is foundational under the current circumstances in enhancing the security cooperation between Morocco and Pakistan. To say it is a new dimension of the relationship between the two countries. So the areas in which the both countries can cooperate as far as it is the regional peace and security, anti-terrorism, and the joint training of the armed forces and this thing. Pakistan offered them their experience in combating terrorism as a frontline state to combat the world terrorism, the global terrorism. So we have lots of experience, and we can share that.
Of course, we can share that. Are there some common challenges that both countries face? Of course, you highlighted the terrorism.
Yes, there is some streak of terrorism in Morocco. IS is active over there, and similarly there are in Western Sahara, there are organizations that are ostensibly fighting for their kind of autonomy and independence. So those challenges are there, because terrorism is now a global phenomena, and we have that expertise or experience over a period of time, that how to combat it, and then how to combat it and fight it out and bring the normalcy in the region. I think Pakistan can offer this, and both the countries can cooperate on these accounts, that is regional security, anti-terrorism, and joint training between these things. And also, I think we should also go and see that if we can export our defense production, that we do it. There is lots of potential over there also. That is
of course, there is a lot of aspect to it. Of course. So let's talk about the role of people-to-people contacts that we discussed earlier in the program as well, about the scope for educational exchanges and people-to-people exchanges, cultural exchanges between the two countries. What is the potential?
There's a great potential, Mariam, but the positive thing is that the media houses between the two countries have also signed an MOU. So with media cooperation, there would be more awareness. Like Dr. Hasnan said, there is lack of awareness. With cooperation between the media of the two countries, it will promote awareness about each other. Once they get to know each other better at people-to-people level, as you asked, then you can promote tourism, you can promote trade, you can promote cooperation in education. Although Morocco offers scholarships to Pakistani students to study, I think the king offers 10 scholarships every year, and their students also come to our educational institutions, so that cooperation is going on. We need to further fortify it. So education, yes, but I thought that the media cooperation was very important, because through media you can reach out to more people.
Of course. So let's talk about the future prospects of relations between the two countries, specifically when we talk about, of course, the important strategic locations of both the countries. How can they leverage it for greater economic connectivity and regional prosperity and regional, intra-regional connectivity as well?
Well, they're working on it. There are various platforms on which these discussions are going on, and now we are looking at Morocco in particular, but Africa in general also, which has a great potential. You can see that China is very active there. Our eastern neighbor is also very active there. So we should not be left behind in this cooperation when we already have a very sound foundation for our relations with these countries.
Of course, we have a sound foundation. Thank you very much, former Ambassador Naila Chauhan, for joining us in today's program. Thank you very much, Dr. Ghulam Mujaddid, for joining us in today's program. Thank you very much, Dr. Hussain Javed, for joining us in today's program. Of course, in today's program, we talked about the potential of enhancing relations between Pakistan and Kingdom of Morocco. And of course, throughout the program, as we discussed, that there is a historical connection between the two countries and how Pakistan supported Morocco, but that potential needs to be translated into the economic potential of both the countries. There is a lot of potential when we talk about different sectors in which both countries can collaborate further. That's all from Game Changer tonight. Take care.